Good morning everyone, it's Pierre speaking. It's Friday morning, it's the 12th of May 2017. Time is about 8 o'clock GMT time when I made this video clip. A little bit of tuck and pull this week for me guys with entries. Price got to our levels, got signals, got in, price pulled back, either it kicked you out or it was just hanging around, then only later on setting off into the direction. Now I find that very frustrating, but that is part of Forex and we just need to get used to it. Starting off with the Euro US dollar 4-hour chart. Beginning of the week we said the direction indicator is telling us that we need to look for longs. We closed 60 pips higher. So what did we do? We flipped from the bottom of last week to the high that we've got in this area to get a zone starting at 945 coming down to 910. Monday morning in Photos Trading Academy's webinar, he called a short from somewhere around here guys, and I was not keen taking a short there. It was a no man's land for me, and for me direction was long on this pair. Well, hindsight trading, it turned out to be a very good trade there indeed, but as I said, day trading a different method. My Earth and Sky told me to look for longs, and that is what I did. Now main areas for me was this 1028 level. That was my main area where I wanted to take a counter short. Price didn't really get to that level, so I didn't take a counter short. Mark also called on Sunday this level here. It's a psychological level. It was a big level according to him. What did price do? It just tumbled from there. So price came, we fell right through the Earth and Sky trading zone, and if we drop down to the 1-hour chart, we can see how price tumbled through the Earth and Sky trading zone. And if you go to a 30-minute chart, we can see how we tumbled through the zone without a cross there. So there was no confirmation to take any longs. So the ribbon indicator kept us out of a very bad trade there. If we go back to the 4-hour chart, what did price do? Price broke last week's low area. Okay, we have MACD divergence showing up now, so there's a possible correction coming. I will sit on my hands because we've got a roadblock here. We've got a 55 EMA roadblock. We've got this weekly pivot point roadblock. We've got another 54 EMA. My thinking is this level here. We've got two 200 EMAs. We've got a psychological level there. There's a weekly pivot point there. And that can be a big area for us, possibly next week for support, starting at 812, coming down to 797. Euro JPY 4-hour chart. The blue line, that was on Tuesday when I did my write-up. After my write-up on Tuesday, what did price do? We made a new high, so we had to honor it. We had to follow it with our FIP, so we had a new zone starting at 122.92, coming down to 122.11. For me, the main area was this psychological level here. It's a psychological level of 123. We had a 55 EMA there, and if we look to the left of the chart, previous support resistance. Now that area will still be key for me guys. We've got a weekly pivot point, psychological level 55, previous support resistance, so that is multiple reasons. We need good solid support there before I will consider taking any longs. Counter trades this week, 124.77, price didn't get to that area there as well. Most of the week we're just going sideways and didn't touch the levels of interest on this pair. Euro pound daily chart, here we said we're going to flip the daily chart. We did that from the high to the low. Reason why we flipped the daily chart, last week we closed 23 pips higher than the opening, so we couldn't flip the 4-hour chart to get a short zone. We could flip the daily chart, which we did. We flipped from the high to the low. Then we had a zone 8448 going up to 8519. In the zone, I said to you guys, these two 200 EMAs, it's the 4-hour and the daily, plus a psychological level and the 55 coming down is huge. Unfortunately, this is Friday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that was on Monday. Price already started this drop here. So last week, first day, we touched that levels and the move started to come down. Now look how price came. We touched the psychological level at 8400. Look at that pin bar, price busy pulling back. So I will keep an eye on these levels again, 8482, 8501 for possible short setups again. Pound US dollar 4-hour chart. Beginning of the week we said that we need to look for longs. We flipped the bottom of last week. Let me just move the FIP from the bottom of last week to the high. Now what did price do in the early part of the week? blue line Tuesday again. We came down. Look how we touched that 55 EMA, burnt immediately, price rallied up and reached last week's high area there, or profit take area. Problem was, if you go to the 1 hour chart, look how price came in, and then if we go to the 30-minute chart, look how price came in there. That was the confirmation. Confirmation on this candle here was quite high up. Stop had to be 45, and there was only possible gain of about 40 pips on that one. So ratio not great, but it was a 1-to-1 on that one. Then later in the week, what happened? Price came back into the zone, and then yesterday news came out, and this was a huge candle. Let's quickly have a look at that. Almost 80 pip candle. When the news came out, we dropped right through the Earth and Sky trading zone. We did find support in the end of the day around here, the weekly pivot point, but I will leave it alone till next week. Pound JPY 4-hour chart. Beginning of the week, we said we had to flip from the bottom to the top. That was the high. Then on Tuesday, we were in this area. We made new highs after my write-up. So what did we have to do? We had to follow it with the FIP to get a new Earth and Sky trading zone. The new zone, 145.96, coming down to 144.88. What is price busy doing? We're tumbling into that Earth and Sky trading zone. I will keep my eyes on this psychological level, the 55 EMA, the weekly pivot point. Look to the left of the chart, previous support resistance for possible support on this one. We need good solid support before I will consider taking longs on this one. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we made the new highs, I said you guys, keep your eyes on this level here. It's a psychological level of 148. We had a weekly second pivot point there, guys. Remember how I feel about my second pivot points. That means we highly overbought, oversold when we get to the second pivot points. Let's go to the 1 hour. What did price do when we got there? Look how we touched that level. What can you spot? We had MACD divergence on the 1 hour, and this is where I say it got a little bit tricky, because if we go to Tuesday, we had an entry here, okay? Stop had to be on the other side of the high. Then just after our entry, price pulled back, so we were chowing our nails because our stop was on the other side, and we got within about 20 pips from our stop before price turned around again. Now yesterday there was another confirmation to short just before the news that came out later. Everything was telling that we were going down in this pair. So if you weren't in the trade from this level here already, some guys would have stayed out with the news coming out, but we had a lot of reasons to think that we're going to get a pullback. Psychological level, weekly second pivot point. Remember, MACD divergence on a bigger time frame. Stochastic was overbought, and this one, let's quickly have a look at the 1 hour. Dropped about 200 pips already, hitting support levels now, so be careful if you're still in a short for possible profit take there. Aussie US dollar 4 hour chart, also a little bit bumpy, guys. Beginning of the week we said we need to look for shorts. We flipped from the high to the low. This was Tuesday. After Tuesday, price came, we made a new low, we had to honor it, followed with the flip to the new low there. Then we had a new zone, 7443, going up to 7499. Today, before the zone, at the 58.2 FIP, we have a 55 EMA in this area. We had previous support resistance there as well. So that can be a roadblock for this one. 7407, 7416. If we do break to the upside, keep your eyes on 7446. And if that breaks, definitely 7493 for short setups. When price was at this level here, 7336, I said to you guys, support coming up. Possible counter trade. We had MACD divergence. Stochastic was oversold. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. We had MACD divergence. Look at this. Price was coming down. MACD was trending up. The problem was this. Confirmation came in early Asian session. If you took this long from this level here, price had a nice rally. Then we pulled back, made a double bottom in that area. Okay, and then we set off again yesterday. Okay, so once again, stop would have been on the other side of this low area at 7329. Had a nice set off there, and then this nasty pullback again. Okay, our main profit take is at this level, 7416 at least. So we still didn't hit main profit takes. So if you were in a long there and you didn't bring your stop in to at least break even, then look at this, price came to the other side of your actual entry. But that was the initial stop under this level here, 7329, and that is why I say tuck of war this week with our entries. We're in, we're out, we're pulling back, and then we're setting off. And I hate it when that happens. Aussie JPY 4-hour chart, beginning of the week, we said that this is a big cluster EMAs there. I didn't like this. From Wednesday, I didn't like this. Price came, we respected the 200 EMAs, we had this drop, we had a pullback, we broke through the EMAs, back again, through it again. Yesterday we came and we actually found support again, and I hate it when price doesn't respect the EMAs like this pair did this week. US dollar JPY 4-hour chart, beginning of the week, we said we need to look for longs, we flipped from the bottom to the top. Blue line was Tuesday, we had to follow it with the FIP to get the adjusted trading zone. New zone 112.78 coming down to 111.98. Okay, before the zone at the 58.2 FIP this week, or for today rather, 113.16, 113 psychological level, 55 EMA, previous support resistance. So there can be possible support for us there. If we do find support there, possible longs can set up. I also call this level here, it was a psychological level of 114.11. Price broke to the upside. Look at this, we had MACD divergence, so we knew that there's a possible correction coming. If we go to the 1-hour chart, look how price came here. We made a double top there. And here too, if we go to the 30-minute chart, look at that. There was confirmation there, but I wouldn't have taken that. That was in the early part of the Asian session. This little grey box there is the Asian session. I prefer taking trades only from the London session onwards. And then yesterday we had a nice confirmation. Stop would have been on the other side, 35 pips. To the lowest point it dropped 60 pips, so it made twice the risk. But this one here was a little bit nasty. Yes, there was confirmation. Yes, there was a trend line break, but it was in the Asian session. Yesterday's entry was a better entry on that one. US dollar CAD daily chart. This one we said we're sticking on the daily chart. Price just camping out at this psychological level of 3,700. We had to flip the daily from the bottom to the top. We've got a zone starting at 3,507, coming down to 3,364. In the zone 55. EMA psychological level monthly pivot point. First roadblock at the 58.2 FIP, 3572, 3543. That area there. Okay, for possible support. If we look to the left of the chart, previous support resistance there as well. What did price do? Gave us the middle finger. Just went sideways the whole week. I've got a feeling if we're going to break this, 3682, it's going to be fast and furious down to this level here at least. Possible counter short, 3817 still on the cards for me on this one. US dollar index, if we look at the daily chart, we said that we were looking for shorts. Now prices on the other side of the 200 EMA, that is why the lights are busy changing here, but there's still a big roadblock. If we flip from previous high of the previous month to the low, then we've got a zone 99.91 going up to 163. Price currently at the monthly pivot point at 200 EMAs at a monthly pivot point, 55 burned it already, previous support resistance. Need a glass of water after that one. That is multiple reasons, guys. That is what we always mean with multiple reasons. We've got 200 EMAs, monthly pivot point, 55 previous support resistance, so there's loads of reasons to think that this will be a big roadblock, boiling a band coming down as well. So I'll be keeping my eyes on that level there for possible short setups. I did take some trades that I also showed you with the pound CHF, I think it was. Remember the ribbon indicator told us to look at a couple of pairs there, and I will show you on Monday because it's on a different account in my Monday morning quickie how that trade went. Have an awesome one. Cheers.